Hello all my artsy crafty friends out there. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Dee, the Messy Perfectionist. And today I'm sharing with you how I created this background on this finished page in Johanna Basford's Enchanted Forest. You may recognize this page as I did a short color along for those orange and red maple leaves over there. I knew I really wanted to create the light source kind of around that spider web and just kind of have a glowy kind of almost, I don't want to say spooky, but kind of that, magical dark forest kind of feel for it. So I knew that's what I wanted to do when I started this page. Did have an idea of how I was going to create that, but I wasn't sure. So as with all things, I am learning and taking you guys along for the ride. If you're interested in a full flip through of this book, I will put a card up above as well as a card up above for the color along of the maple leaves that I completed. And here are all the colors that I used in my Prismacolor set. I did go ahead and pick out 2 palettes from Sarah Renee Clark's color catalog and swatched them out, as well as I wanted to mix a few colors to see how they would come out before I lay them down on my page. But here's the numbers and the colors if you're interested. So I've got all my pencils pulled in the colors, as well as my little eraser pencil. This is such a great little tool. This is where I'm going to put my light source. I grabbed 2 circle type things to use as stencils. So this is just the top of a candle to create a larger ring around the smaller stencil, which I used as my moon to kind of create that pop. I've got all my pencils to the side here from the color palettes that I selected, as well as any other ones that I wanted to use today. And I'm starting here with my moon, my light source. It's going to be very light here. You're not going to be able to see it very well probably on camera, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that I started here so I didn't go over with my dark colors as I was creating that kind of dark blue, gray, purple background. And now I'm starting to work on the outer ring of the moon, that glow. Now that I've determined that I like where that's positioned for sure, I went in with my darkest gray, or it's almost black, to outline the moon better and just kind of create a little bit more detail lines for that glow that goes around the moon. Here I am just going in with my darkest blues to create the background in the corners. I know I want to go from darkest to lightest here. Now I'm starting on the darkest part of the background around the outsides. And it's always best to go in very light for your first layers. It's easier to take away, you know, if you need to erase or change something when you go in very lightly, I noticed. And if you see, I am using a little bit slighter pressure on this side of the page because this side is further away from the light source, which is the moon. So I knew I wanted that area to be darker. Now I'm starting to go in with my lighter shade of blue, going over basically everything that I already laid down and then pulling it down. And I will continue to do that with the shading. And you can see here as I'm, pulling the shades up towards the light source, beginning to fill that space more and more. Now I'm going to start to go in with my kind of lavender and pinks and purples with my little circle stencil, kind of to create, it's almost like the bouquet background. Not a lot of it, not a full blurred background, just kind of a little bit to maybe give the impression of, I don't know, fairy lights in the distance, or whatever your imagination can dream up. And then I did decide to go ahead and add in some of those darker hues, like the blues and the grays as well. And I'm not gonna lie, some places I did start to feel like, oh my gosh, this is getting so messy. But that's part of art, right? And part of learning. Again, that's why I am the messy perfectionist, because sometimes things have to get messy before they are perfect. And that applies to so much more than just art in my life anyway. So if you were ever doing a piece and you're feeling like, oh gosh, this just isn't coming out the way I want, just keep going. You don't have anything to prove to anybody else. It's all about the journey, and just enjoy the process, because if you stop enjoying it, then it becomes stressful instead of your stress-free time, which is what this should be. Let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite part of doing art? What's your most challenging part? And I know I say this every time, but if you did find anything in this video useful, or you like content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit that little notification bell, and please leave a like and comment below. I know I sound a little bit like a broken record, but it really does help the channel grow, and I would love to do more content like this and just keep going with this kind of content on this channel. It's so enjoyable for me. I do have another YouTube channel, which you can find linked in the description below, as well as on the front channel page under other channels, I believe, for my vlog, the Messy Perfectionist vlog. If you're interested in learning a little bit about me, seeing my face, and learning about my health challenges and health journey that I've been on, which I need to do an update soon. This is the point where I really started to feel like it was beginning to come together and feel more cohesive. I started seeing the final outcome. Here I am now going in with my grays, my lighter grays and darker grays, and kind of pulling all of those shades up and blending it together before I go ahead and use my colorless blender to kind of blur and blend everything out. And I think what I love most about doing backgrounds this way is that it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. You are going in very light layers. Everything is going to come together once you use your burnishing method of choice. I use my colorless blender, and just it creates everything to kind of blend together and really give that blurred effect that I was going for. And you can see here again, pulling down the color from those blues, pulling the gray to start there, moving into the center of the page. And you can kind of see how it's starting to take shape. Now I'm going in with that lightest bluish gray, almost that white color. It's the one that I used for the moon, and I'm going in and I'm putting that shade over the entire page as one of my final layers. Now it's time for the colorless blender, where I'm going in and I'm burnishing everything. That little brush is what I use to kind of dust off the page for any particles or wax bloom that develops. I personally really enjoy using a colorless blender for this method. It really helps make those colors pop. Look at that transformation for those blues and grays. Just everything becomes beautifully mixed together. The little bubbles that we created for the bokeh background, just they become that blur. You see that just pulled together. I love doing this part. This is probably my favorite part, honestly. If you notice there, I'm kind of using the colorless blender on that piece of paper that I've got underneath to basically wipe the color off of the blender as I'm moving through, because it will get color deposited on it, like the blues. And so if it becomes too saturated, all of that will be pulled through. So I will like wipe off the colorless blender periodically, especially when I'm moving from the dark colors to the light. here I am blending those circles together, again pulling that color out so that it doesn't look like a symmetrical circle anymore. And I kind of go about and do that for all of them. Once again, we are getting a little messy here. I'm going over areas that I really did not want the colorless blender to blend my little bubbles over, but it's okay. It comes out okay. That little pencil that I have, that little eraser pencil, is just so great to get into those little areas. I go in and I clean up all of the areas that I felt like needed to be cleaned up afterward before I do my final touches with the silver gel pen that you'll see in a few moments here. So here it is, fully burnished and blended before I clean it up and put my highlights in. And I am so sorry, I had recorded doing all of the little highlights I did with my silver gel pen, and apparently I didn't save it. But you guys can see what I did. I really liked how this came out. I did the spider web with the silver gel pen over it. I kind of wanted to put these little highlights. Almost reminded me of like dewdrops on everything. And then I actually went ahead and I smeared it over those kind of long wispy plants at the bottom there. And I kind of like the way it came out. Again, this channel is real. It is not perfect. It is about learning. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that stuff. It means more to me than you know. I so appreciate all of you, and I will be seeing you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.